Hello everybody, welcome back to the epic top 50 favorite films of all time. You were going to see a cameo appearance by my dog Lewis, but he decided to run off because he's a little wimp dog. Now let me tell you something, I made an error in my last video. Me making an error, I know it's impossible to think about, but there's a movie in this list, which I will tell you which one it is, that was going to be in the last one, but I took it out because I wanted to watch it again. And it's a good thing that I did, because when I watched it again I realized, no, this deserves to be higher on this list. And the reason I wanted to watch it again is because the new movie in the series is coming out this week, today even, when I'm making this video. And I said, I want to watch where this all began. And I know this new one is not going to be as good as the original, but I still need to give myself some time to watch the original one, because the original, as everyone knows, is a classic. And I will talk about it when it gets here, and it's not even on the bottom of the list. It's not on the top either, but it's not in the last one. I knew where it belonged in this list officially, because it is such a wonderful and great film and still holds up today. Anyways, let's go on with it. First one is The Warriors. That's right, The Warriors. The Ultimate Director's Cut. The Ultimate Director's Cut has more of a comic book feel to it, where they have like images of comics and stuff like that. But The Warriors, it's the best video game movie ever, basically. And what I mean by that is it feels like one of those Double Dragon type games, but in a movie form. But this is even before Double Dragon came out, I think. Yeah, 1979. This was way before Double Dragon or beat 'em ups were even really that popular. But this is phenomenal action film, a phenomenal action thriller film. It still holds up today. It looks great. It sounds great. The characters are all great. I never read the book that this is based on, nor do I have any intention to. I heard the book's not that good anyway. But this movie is phenomenal. This movie is a sheer action masterpiece, top of its class, top of the line. And it has gotten a cult following, obviously. But it does deserve more credit than it gets, because it is wonderful. And a lot of movies have tried to emulate it along the lines of, even the new Purge, Anarchy tried to emulate it. There's also another movie called Wrong Side of Town that I never saw, but I've seen reviews of it, and it basically just looks like The Warriors, but done poorly. A lot of movies try to emulate it, like I said, along the Purge, Judgment Night, stuff like that, but none of them are able to match the wonderfulness that is The Warriors. Now, this is the movie that I accidentally left out of the other list, and like I said, I needed to put this in here higher, because rewatching it, I realized this is truly a magical film, and it's Jurassic Park. Yes, Jurassic Park, the original masterpiece of special effects. This movie still holds up, people. The effects, the CGI ones, may be a little outdated, but the practical ones, the T-Rex, still as terrifying as it was back then. The thing that it is about this movie is that we're never going to have something as magical as this again, and that kind of sucks. But you know, the reason behind that is that it revolutionized the effects. People haven't seen something along the lines of that before, and it's wonderful. The Avengers almost had the magic that Jurassic Park had when it first was released, but this still holds the bar for the most mind-blowing film to be released, because, and I know people are going to say Avatar, but Avatar doesn't even hold a candle to the wonderfulness that is Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park, it's going to stand the test of time no matter what, no matter how outdated the effects get. The story, the characters, the sheer enjoyment out of it, it's always going to hold up no matter what happens. It is just the perfect film. It just works on every single level. There's some laughable moments, sure, but it's a fun film. It's a great adventure film. I read somewhere that James Cameron was originally going to direct this. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Don't quote me on that. Just something I found on the internet one day. And he said that he wanted to make, he was happy Spielberg made it, because if James Cameron would have made it, he said he would basically just made it aliens with dinosaurs. Don't get me wrong, that would have been incredible. I want to see that movie now. I want to see aliens with dinosaurs. I don't think that's ever happened. There's the Dino Crisis game, but there's never been a movie that's aliens with dinosaurs. That would be phenomenal. And no, I'm not talking about any asylum movie. I want an actual real big budget movie to do that, because that may be the best movie ever. But Spielberg, this is his masterpiece. This is my favorite Spielberg movie. I know Jaws, E.T., Saving Private Ryan, but this is the one that's always going to hold up most in my heart. Don't worry, we'll get to James Cameron later. Alright, everyone already knows this is my favorite movie series of all time. I own just about every movie in this well, not just about, I own every movie in the series except for the 84 one. 85, sorry. Because it just never was released to DVD. The VHS is kind of pricey also. But this movie is phenomenal. And this is why I didn't put the 2014 version of the movie on this list, because I already had a spot for it. The first one in the series, and it's the masterpiece of the series, and it's Godzilla, or Gojira, depending on which one you're going by. They're two different movies, Godzilla and Gojira. Gojira is the original Japanese version, and it is phenomenal. It stands the test of time. It is the best giant monster movie of all time. Nothing's going to top it. It's just the sheer creepiness, the atmosphere, the acting, the effects. While Godzilla, yeah, it's a rubber suit and it looks kind of silly a little bit. In black and white and its tone and angles, he looks great. He looks scary, and it's just wonderful. The story still holds up to this day. I know this may not be a movie for everybody. It is a Japanese film. But it's wonderful. The American version is a bit more boring because it's just a guy basically reporting on the Godzilla event. But the original Japanese version, not gonna lie, it's phenomenal. It's a work of art and definitely needs to be seen to be believed. While there are technically ones that are better than this one in the series, my second favorite is Godzilla, Mothra King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, and then I don't know what the fourth one would be. Those are my three favorite ones for sure. This one is phenomenal though. This one will always hold a special place in my heart, whether it be nostalgia or just the sheer enjoyment I get out of watching this movie. Godzilla, the original Gojira, the original Japanese masterpiece. Now we're getting into some Tarantino territory here, people. What's right there? Oh, right. First one we're going to talk about. I only have two Tarantino films on here because two of his... I love all of Tarantino's films, but these two are my favorites, without a doubt. The first one I'm going to talk about is Reservoir Dogs. This movie, it's a Shakespearean masterpiece. It is done basically in one room with flashbacks, no continuity, just off the wall, wonderful. It's violent, it's great storytelling, it's controversial, it's aggressive, it's in the face, and it's just wonderful. Stuck in the Middle with You is one of my favorite songs because of this movie. And this movie, like I said with a lot of these movies there, they still hold up. It still holds up. It still holds up as one of Tarantino's best. I like this a lot more than Pulp Fiction. A lot of people say Pulp Fiction is his best one, but I think this may be his best one. It's not my favorite, but I honestly think this is his best movie that he's ever made. Inglourious Basterds, yes, I've talked about that before. It's a good film. A little too talky. Not allowing to focus on the actual bastards in the movie. This one is actually about these guys. This one's about their story, the struggle that they're going through, trying to figure out who screwed them over, and it works on all fronts. Not one flaw can I point out to this movie, not one at all. This is one of those sheer perfect movies. Everything works. There's some, you can argue some plot holes and things like that within it, like the scene at the end where there's three guys shooting, but one guy gets down. Maybe no one, I don't ever think anyone figured out how that worked. But Steve Buscemi, Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, all of them, wonderful. I honestly can't recommend that movie enough. Now, this is my favorite Tarantino movie. It's Kill Bill Volume 1, and I just love it because it's so much fun. From start to finish, it's just sheer entertainment value. The entertainment value is through the roof. The second one's not bad either, but this one's the one I feel holds up the best because the final action scene is one of those action scenes that just stays in the brain. It works. Everything about it is just phenomenal. I cannot believe that this doesn't get more credit than it gets because it is one of the most entertaining action films there is to see. It just works. The sheer goriness, the blood spraying everywhere, the influence it takes from all those classic samurai films, it is phenomenal. The classics, the westerns, everything that blends into here works. Still holds up, people. Still holds up. That's what I'm going to say about a lot of these movies. They all still hold up. Now, here I'm cheating again, but I have to cheat because, if both of these movies, both of them, if you have caught me a few years ago, I would have said the first one was my favorite. But then thinking about the second one, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, this one works on the same reasons. And it's the first two Terminator films, Terminator 1, Terminator 2, obviously. Now, like I said, I would have said originally that this one was my favorite one, and this one just would have been behind it. But thinking about the both of them, they are just such well put together films. They work so well with each other. They're the perfect films to watch back to back. I haven't seen Salvation, and I probably won't see Genesis. Genesis looks kind of stupid. It looks like the Terminator movie no one asked for. Maybe it's good. James Cameron apparently said it's good, but then again, that could be because he doesn't want to say anything negative about it. But what can I say about the first one? The first one, while the effects may not be as good as this one, the scenes where they're in the past, or I'm sorry, the future, those are awesome. I love those effects. The 80s feel to this. It is such a great 80s action film. And this one is the perfect 90s action film. They just both work. And from start to finish, they are entertaining. They just blend so well together that I couldn't just pick one. I had to pick both. Next is a movie I saw in theaters. I saw the TV series after I saw this movie, but I saw this in the theater with my dad. We both thought it looked like a great science fiction film. We didn't even know there was a TV show that was that this was based on. And I know a lot of people, well, some people who are hardcore fans of the show might get annoyed by us saying that, but I love this film. I think that it's one of the best sci-fi westerns there is. And the show is also phenomenal. It's Serenity. Serenity, this film, this is an 80s science fiction thriller film made in the present day, and it is wonderful. Just everything about it works. I can't really say much about it because the people who are fans of the show already know how awesome this is. This was the perfect way to wrap up Firefly. Like I said, I didn't see Firefly before I saw this movie. I just thought this was a great, entertaining science fiction thriller film. And you know what? It still holds up. I watched this today, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Sorry, people. It's a great film. You know, you can't deny it. Next, we're going back to Schwarzenegger here, people. And it's Predator. This is my favorite Schwarzenegger film. Because this one, I know the Terminator films you can argue are better, but this one, I get to see Arnold Schwarzenegger being more like Schwarzenegger. He's talking more, he's having more of a character where he's, as opposed to being just robotic like he is in the Terminator films. This one, he's at the front, he's fighting this horrible enemy, and it's awesome. It's a great action horror film. That's why I can't recommend it enough. It's just a great film from start to finish, because Arnold's character in this, he's just a lot of fun to watch. All the puns in this movie, all the gory, gruesome ways these guys get killed off, just work beautifully. And the Predator is still one of the greatest science fiction villains of all time. Alien vs. Predator, those two movies were complete trash. I didn't like the first one, and then I saw the second one. A lot of people said the second Alien vs. Predator, some of them said it was actually better than the first one. Then I saw it, and I was like, this is horrible. I hate this movie. This movie, though, the thing about Predator is that I don't care how bad the Alien vs. Predator movies, I don't care how bad the sequels to Predator were. Predators, that was good. Predators was awesome. Predator 2 was okay, but none of them, I don't care how bad they are, will be able to tarnish my view of Predator. Now we're even going back to that same series, and we're going to talk about Aliens. I like Aliens more than Predator. I think a lot of people actually do. But Aliens, it's another perfect film. It's one of those movies where the aliens don't show up. I mean, there is that chestburster scene in the beginning of the movie, but the aliens don't actually show up until about an hour in, and that's wonderful because it's just this big build-up until they finally make an appearance, and then they do, and it's one of the creepiest scenes on film. I remember seeing that, and when I was a bit older, when I was younger, it didn't scare me, but when I got older, I actually had to turn a light on, and I was like, this scene's too freaky, and it freaks me out to this day. The scene when the aliens first make their appearance, it is without a doubt one of the creepiest scenes there is put on film. James Cameron, man, he is a master at this. That's why I'm so ashamed that Avatar wasn't that good. I know a lot of people like Avatar. I didn't like it. But Aliens, this is where he shined the brightest. The Terminator film's wonderful. This is his masterpiece, though. And that's why I would have liked to see an Aliens with dinosaurs, because if he would have done it like Aliens, that would have been awesome. Next, one of the funniest films, without a doubt, of all time. As a lot of people know, this film is without a doubt a cult masterpiece. Arguably Jeff Bridges' best role. Arguably John Goodman's best role. Arguably everyone in this movie's best role. It's The Big Lebowski. Yes, The Big Lebowski. I don't know anyone who can honestly hate on The Big Lebowski. I think I've seen one person diss it, and I got annoyed because The Big Lebowski is just a sheer likable film. And I remember in his review he said, you have to be high to like it. I wasn't high once when I watched this movie, and I never found it boring. And I love this Blu-ray. It's a cool, there's a code on there I don't want to give away. It's a cool digibook. And this just looks cool. It's a weird film, so I'm sure being high might benefit the movie, but I saw it straight sober every time I watched it, and you know what? It never got old. Not one time did I get sick of watching this movie. Not one point did I think that this movie was dragging on too long. And the entire movie just flowed so well from start to finish, and it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous film, and that's what makes it work. It knows it's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun with the fact that it's ridiculous. It just loves its characters. It loves its story. It loves itself, and that's why this movie works so well. It makes no sense. The whole plot is he wants his rug back, and he just gets caught up in all this nonsense. He wants his rug back, and he gets caught up in nonsense. That's why this movie is brilliant. Everything about this movie is just great. You don't have to be high. You don't have to be drunk. You don't have to be under any substance to enjoy this movie. You just gotta sit back, relax, and love the movie. Because you know what? It's the Coen brothers' best film. It's one of the best films there is, period. And it's one of the funniest films there is, period. Everything about it works. And you know what? I'm not going to deny how much I love it. Now, one last comedy for this list, and it's the last movie I have on this list. This is 11 because I screwed up the last time for a good reason. And it's the first Back to the Future film. This is the box set of all three of them. But I'm just only going to talk about the first one. All three of them are really good, but the first one's the one that holds up the best. It is just so funny, the first one. Marty McFly getting caught up in all this nonsense. His friend dies, and then he goes back in time to try and save him. And it just works. I know that's kind of a weird way of putting the movie's plot, but that's how I'm going to put it. I love this box. Does this open? No, this doesn't. Good, I didn't try and open it. This opens, though. Yeah, like we said, all three films. Sorry, I'm not really talking about the film. I'm kind of just trying to show this off. I remember seeing someone have like a booklet case of this, though. I only got this box set recently, so that's why I'm kind of fumbling around with it. But back to the movie itself. It's just a lot of fun. The beginning scene's a great action scene. The whole movie's just a great teen comedy. Not teen as in, teeny bopper type comedy. He's a teenager who gets caught in comedic situations. And I love how all three movies connect perfectly with each other. I know we're never going to see Back to the Future Part 4, but I think that's for the best, because if we have a fourth one, it's just become nonsensical. And I know they tried to make a fourth one with the animated series, but the Back to the Future game, that was actually really good. But the movie, the original Back to the Future, it's an all-around 80s science fiction comedy classic. There's another one of those movies there's no flaws in. I want someone to try and figure out what flaws are in this movie. And I'm not talking about plot hole flaws here, people, because plot hole flaws, continuity flaws are always going to be in movies, but I want to find just someone say something that is negative about this movie. The acting, all good. The characters, all good. The music, all good. The scenes, all good. The effects, all good. Everything about this movie is great. It still holds up as one of the funniest movies of all time, and it will hold up as one of the funniest movies of all time until the day the world just collapses in on itself, or just, I don't know how the world's going to end, but however the world ends, this is going to hold up forever, people, till the end of time. And that's the power of love. Anyways, part 4 of my top 50 favorite films of all time. The final 10 is coming up soon. When am I going to do it? I don't know. But like I said, I don't want to do these movies without energy. That's why I don't do them as often as I was hoping to, because if I'm not giving you the energy for my favorite movies of all time, then I am doing something wrong. Everyone deserves better than that. So ladies and gentlemen, Stay tuned for the top 10. It's coming soon, and it's going to be awesome. I promise. That's when we're getting into the real stuff. Take care.